It's a funny old world, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that. Funny, isn't it? Welcome back to Chelsea news. Yes, of course, Chelsea have successfully hijacked the signing of Modric. It looked like that was the case shortly after my upload yesterday, but since a lot has happened, and I'm going to be honest, I have spent ample time on social media looking at Arsenal Football Club accounts. And I know that it's unbecoming of me, but it feels good. And the closer I look at Modric, the happier I am. It's when you don't score goals and you don't have a creative attack and you buy a seemingly rapid, young, exciting young talent, who you've got people like as Adam Crafton of The Athletic writing on there an article they did for him for Arsenal, by the way, in December when it looked like he was going to go to Arsenal in December, a long time ago. They've remade the article for Chelsea, and they're doing lines like, comparisons to Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. might not be far off the mark if things go right for him, which is a sensational, incredible thing to say. Like I said, I think he's got 10 goals this season, 7 in the league, 3 in the Champions League. But he is a incredibly exciting player. Now, we're going to talk about Chelsea's new attack. Chelsea, by the way, let's get the housework out of the way. Thank you for dropping a like on the video. It's a good way to support the channel. It takes a click. A lot of you don't click like. Why not? Just a millisecond to help me out. Have you done it yet? Thank you. And you're welcome to subscribe if you want to. So yes, Modric, a deal that goes up to 100 million euros. Now, bearing in mind, Arsenal were prepared to pay 95 million euros. And he wanted to go to Arsenal. Chelsea paid 5 million more. He goes to Chelsea. Now, this is largely down to payment structure. Chelsea are paying more up front, and the add-ons are more achievable, or so saith reports. So therefore, for Shakhtar, who of course have been, for geopolitical reasons, are not generating as much revenue as they should be as a Ukrainian team in the Ukrainian league, they wanted to understandably maximize returns for this player. And it looks like they've absolutely done that. From Big Todd Bowley. Now, of course the player did want to go to Arsenal. We know that. He did the online social media twerking. Now, if you watch my latest upload, you'll see me expressing great concerns. And why are we not putting this amount on, for example, Enzo Fernandez? Which I still feel like is the case. Fabrizio Romano just said on his YouTube channel that he would not be surprised if Chelsea still sign a midfielder. Now, I don't think we're going to spend necessarily £120 million on Enzo Fernandez on top of this, because we've spent a lot. But Modric, he's been signed as like the other players, like Benoit Badiashile, the defender we've just signed for £33 million in the same window. A 7.5-year deal, so a deal that expires in 2030, I guess, maybe in the summer. Certainly, people are saying 7.5-year deal, certainly 7 to 7.5 year, which actually is a smart thing. We've discussed about this before with Badiashile and other players, Armando Broja, or Broja, I don't know how to say it in terms of the proper pronunciation, but he signed a 6.5-year deal, which is interesting, especially with Armando, because we didn't buy him. He's an academy player. And the main idea is protecting your paid-for asset here. Of course, it protects your player anyway, so a long-term deal for Armando makes sense. But for Modric, a 7.5-year deal will mean, in terms of presenting the books to financial fair play, you amortize it, you slice it up every year. So it's essentially taking a 5-year amortization of a 5-year deal to a 7-year or 7.5 year. So you sort of spread it out thinner, and therefore you have more time to report back and present your books accordingly to UEFA with financial fair play. Chelsea are signing young players on long-term deals, so their books will be balanced, and in 2030, they believe they'll have a team of very, very talented players. And their books would be fine, and they would have built something with Graham Potter, and they would have looked after the plan. That's the idea. Very sensible in theory, but is it going to come off with in practice, and will it, we'll have to see. I mean, there's risk within everything, right? So Fabrizio Romano also tweeted this, being told Graham Potter, as the Chelsea manager, had a phone call with Mykhailo Mudryk to explain the Chelsea project a few days ago. It's important to note that this deal hasn't come out of nowhere. Chelsea have been interested in Modric for a while. Remember, we had the Shakhtar, CEO or chief or someone big and important, forgive me that I forgot the individual, at Stamford Bridge for our 1-0 loss to Man City. So that was 3 games ago now. He was at Stamford Bridge to watch that game. And Todd Boehly was in the box with him. So clearly we've been negotiating this deal for a while, or feeling out the situation. But for us as fans, it just seemed like we sort of pushed it out of our minds, didn't we? Because 1, Arsenal were putting in 3 or 4 bids. We hadn't put in a bid. 2, the player looked like he seemingly wanted to join Arsenal. We're in 10th. They're going to probably win the Premier League. So it was the first... Graham Potter spoke to Modric to explain the Chelsea project, like I said, a few days ago. It was the first concrete step to tempt the player away from Chelsea. The Shakhtar meeting in London last Wednesday, knowing Mykhailo priority was to join Arsenal. So this was the first step. Graham Potter pitching Chelsea to Mykhailo Mudryk, knowing he wants to go to Arsenal, but they're saying, look, this is what we can do for you here. Now, a 7.5 year deal and probably high wages is a good way to tempt a player, especially if you're your agents and your representatives are saying, yeah, dude, that's really good. I tell you, you should join these guys. I'm going to give you a lot of money. But we've read in recent reports and articles that Chelsea are actually looking to do a smart wage structure, like a relatively similar basic for everyone, but the opportunity to earn more. So you'd have to assume your Benoit Badiashile, your Armando Broyers, and indeed your Mykhailo Mudryks will be signing on these deals, not on insane money, but on good money with the opportunity to make it mega money. It's a lot of money. Money. A little bit for further context of an article from Matt Law, and then we'll talk about Chelsea's plan of attack. Chelsea have made a stunning bid to hijack Arsenal's move for Mykhailo Mudryk by flying to Turkey to agree an £88 million deal. So £88 million. When you say it like that, it's not as bad. 88 million. It's still 12 million less than Romelu Lukaku, and he was bad. Excuse me, to sign the winger from Donetsk. And there's strong optimism with Chelsea that are on the brink of formally clinching the deal. Of course, there is a lot, and we've offered him a deal till 2030. There's a lot of social media flirting. Chelsea have quite oddly, and Adam Crafton of The Athletic did highlight this, we've been doing eyes emojis and putting his Instagram on the bio of the official Chelsea Football Club Instagram page, and posting on their story and indeed tweeting on Twitter, go show him some love, go follow Mykhailo Mudryk. Now, I speculated as soon as this happened, maybe he's worried about all the Arsenal twerking and doesn't know what the Chelsea fans are going to think or something like that. So Chelsea have been like, no, they love you, you're wicked. Look, we'll get them to send you some love. They'll love that you're coming to Chelsea and not Arsenal. I know he's gained hundreds of thousands of followers since that tweet, because he had 500,000 followers, and it popped off massively. And actually, just out of interest, while we are recording, it might be quite funny to see how many followers he has now at time. So he's gained about 250,000 followers since that tweet, 250,000, and he hasn't even held up the shirt yet. So yeah, Chelsea are oddly trying to divert and, sort of social media feels over to him. So Arsenal's bid was around £80 million, but Chelsea just put in a few more. I think Arsenal definitely had this sort of definitive final, look, we're going to pay this. So Chelsea's bid that was accepted is actually £62 million up front. That rises to £88 million, which doesn't actually sound that bad, does it? When you think about it, £62 million, that's what's it, less than Marc Cucurella? And this guy is meant to be like seen as like a prodigy. I'm going to take this opportunity to say I was not feeling good about this yesterday, and it took me some time of looking at how Arsenal fans were talking about this guy. I'm not trolling here. I'm being like, legit, because they were putting their hearts and investigative eyes on this player for a month, and I've sort of latched onto that data and it's up really quickly. He does look very exciting. Now, of course, there's no reason to say this will definitely translate into Premier League football from Ukrainian football straight away, and he's very young, and, our attack's not like it's firing anyway. But, it's good. It's good. The decision to sign Modric demonstrates more backing for head coach Graham Potter, with his squad currently decimated by injuries and suspensions. Arsenal was said to be stunned by the size of Chelsea's move, but always insisted they would not be drawn into a bidding war. Indeed, Chelsea have opened talks with Shakhtar over Modric the last month, with officials attending that game against Man City. The Blues had backed off making a bid without knowing whether or not he would join, and were reluctant to pay anywhere near Shakhtar's asking price, despite always being confident they could outbid Arsenal. But having signed João Felix on loan last week, Chelsea decided to make a big push to try and add their 22-year-old Modric to the squad. So we've also made an opening bid for 26.5 million for PSV Eindhoven winger Noni Madueke. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And we are interested in a host of midfielders, including Caicedo from Brighton. Oh, look, another Brighton player. If Modric completes his move to Chelsea, which, by the way, is going to happen. He's having a medical today, and he's expected to attend our 2-0. I was going to say, it's 2 p.m. I was going to say 2-0. I might as well just say it. 2-0 loss to Crystal Palace. So when he watches that 2-0 loss to Crystal Palace, hopefully he would have signed by then, and he's probably thinking, okay, now what have I done? It will mark the second time this month Arsenal have lost out to their London rivals. Oh, it feels good. Yum, yum, yum. For an attacker, of course, after getting João Felix. It's exciting, great stuff. Chelsea, look, it's such a weird time to be a fan, because it's like, we're not good on the pitch, but we just got a lot of those mercenary players, old players. We can see, even the people who, are Potter out, I'm totally fine that everyone's, entitled to their opinion. And I will never judge someone's footballing opinion if it's provided it's not discriminatory or cruel or whatever. So I get it. If you don't want Potter, I totally fine. Personally, I am Potter in, because I do believe he's a great coach. I've always wanted him to be England manager, and this is when I was in love with Tuchel, before it all went wrong with Tuchel and, the stats went dismal and all that. And he does seem like the appropriate character to build a long-term project and hopefully do the right thing with players. Chelsea are building a new attack. We've, of course, signed the likes of David Datro, Fofana, and got Armando Broja. But now we've got, elite players as well. We've got, Nkunku, Modric. Matt Law has previously stated he said Chelsea feel confident, should they want to, that they will be able to sign João Felix on a permanent, which is very exciting. From the 58 minutes we've watched of him playing football for Chelsea against Fulham, it did look like he could revitalise our attack. So, very, very exciting indeed. I'll put out to you guys, what do you think? Are you feeling better about this, like I am? Provided Chelsea still get a midfielder, are we good? How do you feel? Nizar Kinsella of the Evening Standard, now once of goal, wrote about Chelsea's squad list limitation. It does seem like after Modric, if we want to get more senior over 21 players in, we'll have to sell some players this month. There's talks of Conor Gallagher being sold to Crystal Palace. There's, we might try and get Ziyech out or something. There's lots of stuff to consider. Let me know what you think. Huge story, of course. I look forward to seeing you very soon. So after you've clicked like, make sure you turn the bell on when you subscribe. Cheers, friends. Peace.